I see we already have a bit of an audience. Well, that's good. 13 minutes and 13 seconds to go. Pop out chat. There we go. Okay, folks, I am just getting set up, so just stand by a moment. Oh, boy. I'm almost there. Hello, everybody. 12 and a half minutes to go. So we get ready for our game tonight. I will again note that we're recording this November 5th, 2020, but a few of you in chat already know that. I like to state the obvious, so when people watch this on tape or stream or whatever, that we know when, because somebody will probably watch this game 2, 3 years from now. When did he record that? Here's Paulie. That's right, Al Red Sox fan. How are you? Luke Brown requested that we do a live stream tonight, so I said, why the hell not? So we'll go ahead and do the stream tonight. Minnesota and Los Angeles is the game, which I am setting up right now. LA is a 3-point favorite. And let me just note for posterity, if there's any news that breaks in the hour or so I do the game, 7:18 in the PM on November 5th. We will break it to you. We are recording this at a time we still don't know who won the presidency. So if there is any change to that, we will break in. Because I used to do news. I used to do news down here in St. Pete. I worked overnights for the CBS station down here, which was at the time WHNZ 570 in Northeast St. Pete. And if anything happened overnight, when I was working overnights, nothing ever happened. But you never know. Some of the big events in history have occurred on the overnight shift. you know, you never know what's going to happen on a given night, and this is one of those nights. We'd play the CBS News, and I'd do like a couple of stories, and I'd tell everybody what the weather was, and then I gave everybody the whatever the network show was. And at the time, that would have been like a sports betting show out of Las Vegas, kind of like VSiN before VSiN came to be a few years ago. Brent Musburger's no longer there, I don't think. I think he just does the Vegas Raider games. I haven't heard him on VSiN in a long time. No, no. I guess with coronavirus and the fact that he is 81 years old, he cut back a little bit. But hello, Luke. Hello, Al. We'll be getting this game started in a little bit. I like to do these little chats beforehand, so if you don't like the chats, then just take note the countdown clock on the right. I can't talk worth a damn tonight. Note the clock on the right side. Cue your stream up about 9 minutes, and we will have the game for you then. But a lot going on in the world. Not a lot going on in the sports world because, as I was mentioning last night, you got no pro football. You got the football game tonight. You got Green Bay and the 49ers. But there's no hockey and there's no basketball going on. I think college football. There was a game last night. A couple of games last night. I think the MAC just got started, the Mid-American Conference. That's another riddle for college football. With some of the season starting now, and some of the season, some of the teams' conferences playing for several weeks. I don't know how they're gonna. Timeout for trivia was some. There was a there was a business channel on, and I think the guy's name who hosted that was Todd Donahoe. I remember it because they used to have some, off the wall sports on. I think it was FBN with Financial Business Network or something like that, and they had a guy named Timeout for Trivia, and you could call into that show. Yeah, yeah, it was. And they used to have wrestling from all, the places where it wasn't already on cable TV, like Memphis and Hawaii and places like that. A ton of boxing. You're right. FBN. That's right. FNN Score. Thank you, Al Red Sox fan. Your memory's a little sharper than mine tonight. FNN Score, and they would do all business in the daytime. It was kind of a forerunner to CNBC. I don't think CNBC was around until later. And then yeah, they would do all sports at night, and you would see like they would run on the bottom like the box scores for like single A Florida State League baseball. So if you wanted to see how the Clearwater Phillies did against the St. Pete Cardinals, or Kenosha against Beloit, uh, you could see it. NBC bought them. Very good, Al. Very good, Al. Yeah, I was thinking they were a forerunner to CNBC. I remember back when ESPN did business. They had a couple of hours that they did a business show on the ticker. The ticker on the bottom was great, and they did you. The ticker just covered every minor league event I think known to man. Uh, let's see here. Business at 6 p.m. Then sports. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Al. You're absolutely right. They ran on my cable system. Now this is back in the day when if you had 40, 50 channels on your cable system, you were living large. And we had Sports Channel. Sports Channel was the forerunner of Fox Sports. And when I've lived in Tampa Bay most of my life. I lived 1 year. I lived in Marietta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, and I got to go see some Braves games. And then 1 year in my life, I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. Didn't get to see any Hornets games because I was too busy working at a Walmart. And a couple of times I lived in Las Vegas, very, very briefly. Each time I got to see some fights out there. Because every time they had a big card, they would always have they'd have these cards where there would be boxers you never heard of fighting each other, just because they knew there would be people in town watching, for the bigger cards. And one of the times I was in town in 1996, they were having the first Julio Cesar Chavez and Oscar De La Hoya fight, and they had a whole bunch of cards surrounding that, like the Chavez De La Hoya fight was on a Friday night, and they would hold like a card on Thursday. Uh, Mod myself down a little bit because I see I'm going into the red on my microphone. We used to get Whalers games on Sports Channel New England. Yep, yep, yep. And my family also used to have a satellite dish, but we got it at the wrong time. It was when all the sports channels would go encrypted, and we would watch like say CBS had a college football game, and you could if you knew which you had to play with you had to call up the different satellites and you could get the raw feed of it. But by the time we had gotten the satellite dish, that was going away and they were encrypting their satellite feeds. So you could see, what Summerall and Madden were talking about during the breaks, and that was kind of neat. Of course, Al Michaels used to have a whole bunch of fun with the people on the satellite dish during the commercials. And I think there was an interview of Al Michaels in Sports Illustrated in '87. That's all they talked about was, oh yeah, yeah. Al talks to everybody on the dish when they go in the commercial break. Yeah, that's kind of funny. When was this? FSN Score. I want to say they were around, say, early '90s, and then later Sports Channel had Chet Kopic, who did a sports talk show. Chet just passed away about a year or two ago. Chet Kopic, never met him, never talked to him, but that was a one in a kind guy. And he would have anybody on. He'd have anybody on. He had a lot of WWF wrestlers. He had anybody who he thought would make a good interview in kind of like a Larry King format. Mid 80s? That far back? I was thinking more closer to 1990. Um, but yeah, I had back in the day when I was a kid, we had the dial, we had the big dial for cable, and it would have 2 to 13, and then it would have A to Z, and you picked the channel you wanted to watch. by turning the dial. And I think ESPN was channel I, HBO was H, and problem with those machines now, the person who did this in my family is no longer around, but you could tinker around with those boxes, and you could get the channels maybe you weren't supposed to get, and you could get them and not have to pay for them. There was a method to do it, and the family member who is no longer around uh, learned about, okay, this is how you get the channels for free, and nobody was the wiser to it. You were born in 87, Luke? Well, that was a good year. 87, so you are 33. Yeah, thank you for dropping by. I'm 49. I was born in 1971. Got the itch all of a sudden. 2 minutes to go, because I got a light on me, and little, the monitors tend to run a little hot for some reason. I don't know why that is. Remember getting updates on the Hagler-Hearns fight on the ticker, which would have been 1985, because I was in the 8th grade when that fight happened, Hagler and Hearns. Oh, what a fight that was. Those guys were going to war right in the first round. One of the great rounds I've ever seen in boxing. That, and if you ever watch tape on YouTube, watch the George Foreman Ron Lyle fight, where they're going to war and they're knocking each other down in the fourth round, and Cosell's going crazy. Because, it's not too often you see one guy get up, one guy go down, get up, knock the other guy down, get up, and then that guy knocks the other guy down and gets up, all within a 1 round span. So I don't blame Cosell for going nuts, because that's a very rare occurrence to see 3 knockdowns in a round and they are alternating turns getting knocked down. So yeah, Foreman and Lyle, yeah, that is a great fight. That was one of the, that fourth. That's one of the great rounds in boxing. That fourth round, and the fifth round wasn't too bad either. That was the round where Foreman stopped them, and they're still trading, and they're still in turn getting hurt because they're not really good with the. They're very good offensive fighters, but their defenses sucked, especially Foreman around that time, because he just got beat by Ali, and Ali kind of showed everybody how you got beat. Well, guys, I'm going to pause for a moment. I'll set up my. I set it up a little too soon. Okay, folks, 20 seconds, and we'll get started. 15. 8. 3, 2, 1. Big Paulie's World of Sports Sims proudly presents the HTFL Game of the Night. This Thursday night, November 5th, we have Minnesota traveling to Los Angeles. This will be the next to last game in week number 12. And a good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you see this. I'm Big Paulie coming to you. Minnesota and Los Angeles. These are probably going to be two teams that lined up meeting each other in the playoffs in January when we get that started. And Minnesota and LA come in both 7-3. We're playing at the Coliseum, the old home of the LA Rams. Of course, these two teams have had some famous games against each other, especially during the 70s. It was the famous Mud Bowl that was played in LA in the day after Christmas of 77. And I think that's on YouTube if you ever want to look that up. Vin Scully and Alex Hawkins calling that. Minnesota's the computer team, and I will be running the Rams. 53 degrees and calm, so a little cool in Los Angeles in this late afternoon game, East Coast time. Los Angeles won the toss. And since we got a good defense, I'm going to defer to the second half. Minnesota, quarterbacked by Fran Tarkenton, Jim Everett, the quarterback for Los Angeles. Kind of by committee. They don't really have an outstanding quarterback. Los Angeles is a combination of the Rams when they played in Los Angeles, the Raiders when they played in Los Angeles, the Chargers when they played in Los Angeles, and the Los Angeles Dons who played in the AAFC in the 40s. Bud Grant is the coach of Minnesota, and George Allen, the coach of LA. The Rams in blue, the Vikings in white. Percy Harvin, Nelson, and Ed West back deep. And it's a touchback, 1st and 10 in the 20. I forgot to mention that the historical set is set for release, the latest historical set for Dave Koch Sports. Got that in the newsletter this afternoon. So if you want the latest historical set, it will be coming out, but I will still be using the 2019 set all the way through this season. And then when we get to season 2 in September of 21, we'll use the 2020 set. Okay, let's set up the Minnesota offense for you. Peterson and Brown at running back, Carter and Moss at wideout, Jordan at tight end, Tarkenton quarterbacking, Zimmerman, McDaniel, Tingelhoff, White, and Yerry are your offensive line. For Los Angeles, Donald and Jones at defensive end, McLaughlin and Merlin Olsen defensive tackles, Green, Richter, Robinson your linebackers, McDaniel, Irvin, Cromwell, Rich are going to be your defensive backs. And on 1st and 10, let's see what Scrambling Fran is up to. It's going to be a handoff to Brown. He gains 2 yards. Irvin on the stop, and it's a 2-yard gain to the 22. 2nd and 8. So Brown, the first carry of the game, goes 2 yards, and he gained nothing there as he tried to go wide, and Donald, with great pursuit, made the tackle. 3rd and 8, ball to 22. Tarkenton in the gun with 2 running backs. Dump off to Peterson, who gained 6. Richter makes the stop for the Rams, and it will be a 4th and 2. So Minnesota brings on the punting team. Tim Brown is back deep. He makes the fair catch at the 33. The punt goes 39, no return. For LA, we'll set their offense and Minnesota's defense in turn. Dickerson and Younger at running back. Brown and Ellard at wideout. Todd Christensen is the tight end who played for the Raiders. Everett at quarterback from the Rams. Huffman, Wisniewski, Namitz, Putnam, and Slater, Jackie Slater, is the right tackle. Front 4 for Minnesota, Ellis, Dolman, Page, and Randall. You got 3 10s in there and a 10-plus in Allen Page. Blair, Simeon, Winston, your linebackers. Bryant, Rhodes, Browner, and Kraus for your defensive backs. And it's going to be tough sledding for the Rams offensively, though they just went to Washington and defeated them last Monday night a couple weeks ago in real time. Screen to Dickerson, 1st and 10. Blitz was called and Everett picked it up. And Eric Dickerson out of SMU gained 16 yards. He's out to the 49. 1st and 10 for the Rams. We're just getting started with them offensively. The Vikings just went 3 and out. Off tackle right, Dickerson will try his first carry of the game, but a marker.
Personal foul. Defense.
Against Minnesota.
15-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
And that is Blair called for the personal foul. The thing about the Minnesota-LA Mud Bowl of 77, it was so weird to see LA dealing with rainy weather. And I don't think they were adequately prepared field-wise for a whole bunch of rain like you would probably see in Florida on a given fall day. 1st and 10 at the 33 for Minnesota. Dickerson, no gain. But in terms of bad weather games, it was not a bad game because the Rams got a touchdown, and it was 14-7, but they nearly pulled it out at the end, if I remember correctly. Medium out, Henry Ellert, 2nd and 10. Incomplete.
Holding. Offense. Number 61. 10-yard penalty.
Putnam called for the hold. It's 2nd and 20. They'll go Dickerson, pitch right. Just try to get something positive here. Dickerson to the 40, to the 35, to the 25, to the 20. He may go. No. Dickerson stopped at the 2. Browner, Joey Browner with the touchdown saving tackle, and now Eric Dickerson eclipses the 1,000 yard mark. Let's watch that play again. Got by a couple, and then I thought he was gone, but look at Joey Browner with the pursuit, tackling him at the 2. So it's first and goal, 2-yard line. They'll go full house and put Gurley in on a dive play, and he's got 6 points. Touchdown, Rams.
The previous play is under review.
They're going to look at it.
Ruling on the field stands.
Touchdown. That was a booth review. Minnesota did not challenge it. 6-0 because all scores and all turnovers are looked at by the booth. Point after. Good by Chris Barr.
Offsides. Defense. 5-yard penalty.
And on top of that, the Rams will be kicking from the 40. 10:04 left, opening quarter. It is 7-0 in favor of LA. Harvin, Nelson, and West again back deep. Remember, LA deferred and gets the ball to start the second half. And this is a nice return by Darren Nelson, 35 yards to the 38. He's out of Stanford. First and 10 at the 38. We've introduced all the offense and defensive starters, so we'll just get right to work. Brown, loss of a yard. Donald on the stop. For LA, it is 2nd and 11 at the 37. This is Peterson. He loses a yard. So Percy Harvin comes in the game. He'll be wearing 16. And he is the third wide receiver here on 3rd and 12. LA goes to 5 defensive backs and brings in Gray. And a timeout called by the LA defense. They have 2 timeouts left, and the Vikings with 3. Tarkenton, incomplete. Tried to get it to Harvin, but he threw it in traffic. Kevin Green got a hand on it. And Minnesota will punt.
False start. Offense.
In fact, they're going to punt 5 yards deeper.
Repeat. 4th down.
And a 4th and 12 now becomes a 4th and a cab ride from Pasadena. Warford 17 at the 31. It is Lee. That was Bob Lee punting. In fact, Bob Lee won the Mud Bowl for Minnesota. It wasn't Fran Tarkenton that started in that game. It was Bob Lee. Another fair catch by Tim Brown. The punt went 40 yards. 1st and 10 at the 29. LA already up 7-0, looking for more. Dickerson off tackle right side. Finds a hole, and he's having a good game so far. A gain of 10. That gets him to 4 carries and 54 yards. He already has a catch and 16 yards. 3 wide out set. They're going to try to catch the defensive backfield of Minnesota napping. Crazy Legs Hirsch called upon on a medium slant. He wears 40. And he's open, and he makes the catch. Gain of 23. Chris Dolman has been hurt. He'll be back in a few plays. Danielle Hunter out of LSU comes in to replace him. So LA pretty much having their way with it offensively. They lead 7-0. And as I was telling you on Monday night last week, the week of the season, not the week of the real-life calendar, Trap Right Dickerson. They went to Washington and defeated them. A gain of 6 for Dickerson. And now he's up to 60 yards on 5 carries. Tank Younger will get the ball now on a dive. Blitz coming, so we're going to turn that into a screen. And Young very well covered, and it falls incomplete. 3rd and 4, ball at the 32. Man in motion, medium passing route. And I'm going to go to Brown. Play the percentage is there, and a catch by Hirsch. Check down to Hirsch, and a gain of 8. 1st and 10 at the 24, so LA dominating early. Sweep to the right side, Eric Dickerson. First and 10 at the 24, as I was telling you. And Eric Dickerson, this time he has 6 points. Touchdown, LA. So Dickerson carrying the mail very effectively for the Rams. The point after try by Barr is blocked by Page, and Alan Page was known for that. He had a few blocks in his career with the Minnesota Vikings, and we will hold the score at 13-0 with 5:36 to go. Other than that blocked kick, LA is playing near perfectly. Harvin again back deep for Minnesota, returnable. And Harvin's one of these guys who could break one, but he doesn't break one there. 21 yards to the 21. So it's 13-0. Todd Gurley and Eric Dickerson have scored the touchdowns, and Minnesota just blocked an extra point. First and 10, and here is Tarkenton. He throws to Chris Carter. That's a gain of 16. Tarkenton went 3-13 against Dallas last week, 20 for 31, 3 touchdowns. We do have a playlist of all the HTFL games, by the way, all of them that I have been doing play-by-play on, the recap shows, all of that. It's all available. There is an HTFL playlist. Just go to my site, go to my channel on YouTube, and it'll all be there. We've been doing these games since the spring. Second and 10 at the 37. Tarkenton sacked by Green, Kevin Green, doing a dance. And it's a sack of 7 yards. 3rd and 17 at the 30. So LA kind of perhaps buoyed a little bit by their win with Washington. That's a catch by Randy Moss. Gain of 23. And it's now 1st and 10 at the LA 47. This is number 30, which is Brown. Donald was injured on the last play. His return probable. And Jack Youngblood comes into the game out of the University of Florida. And in the first regular season game I ever saw live at Tampa Stadium, he scored a touchdown. He scored a defensive touchdown for the Rams against the Bucks. That was week 4 of 1979. Tarkenton to Jordan, dropped. 3rd and 11 at the 48 of LA. Youngblood is a 10 defensive end, so LA not losing any depth by putting him in. Gain of 8 by Adrian Peterson. 4th and 3. I will watch for the fake punt. And Bob Lee tries to do a little soft shoe on the punt. It goes out of bounds at the 9. So LA starts there. We have 1:38 now left in the opening quarter. Well, Dickerson's been red hot, so we're just going to stay with him. Sweep to the right side. Takes the ball at about his goal line, and that is another gain of 6 yards. So Minnesota and their what should be a good defense that they have on paper, having all kinds of trouble with Dickerson. He could get to 100 yards before the quarter ends. Pitch right, 2nd and 4, ball at the 15. And in fact, he picks up another 8. So he is at 98. 37 seconds left to go, and we will not call a play before the end of the first quarter. It is LA 13 and the Vikings 0. LA has 147 yards, 9 carries, 100 yards as a team for LA. Todd Gurley had 1 carry for 2 yards and a touch. Minnesota 45 yards. They have run 12 plays. There have been 4 penalties so far in the game, 3 of them for Minnesota. So far, it's been a butt kicking for the Rams, but we have a long way to go yet. 1st and 10 at the 23. You never know what will happen that will change the complexion of the game. Trap right. Younger. No gain. And it is now 2nd and 10. We'll go 3 wide, and we'll go to Crazy Legs Hirsch on the medium cross. And Elroy, well covered.
Holding offense. Number 20, 10-yard penalty.
And I think LA will give up the penalty there. Minnesota takes it at 2nd and 20. Dickerson. Screen pass. He's open. And there he goes. That's a gain of 8. He now has 2 catches, 24 yards, and Everett is now 4 for 5 and 55 yards. So on 3rd and 12, they'll put Everett in the gun. And they'll go to Henry Ellard on the medium out route and hope they pick up 12. He's open. They got it. But a marker. Got it with 5 yards to spare. Oh! Brown with a personal foul that cost the Rams dearly. And instead of a first down, it's a 3rd and 23. So Everett will just have to go long here and look for Henry Ellard. Blitz coming, but pretty much no choice. Everett, under pursuit, throws an incompletion. Tom Fears entered the game as a 4th wide receiver, and he wears number 80. Can also play tight end. So it's 4th and 23. Van Brocklin comes on to punt. And oh, what a kick this is. Oh, my goodness. 90 yards. Norm Van Brocklin. That might be one of the longest punts we've seen all year. I'll have to look that up. That was a boomer. Let's look at that again. Not often we show punts. In fact, it's probably not a good idea not to show punts because the uniforms are all off. 1st and 10, and Minnesota starts from the 20. A 90-yard punt. You don't see that too often. Bill Brown, gain of 3. Rich hurt, and he is out for the game. He was playing one of the safety spots, so Will Sherman comes in and replaces him. 2nd and 7, the ball at the 23. Peterson will get the first down. Might get some more as he's in the clear. 40, 50, 40, 30. One man to beat. 38 coming up on him. But Peterson is gone. 77 yards. And what did I tell you? Game could change on a dime. And Adrian Peterson goes over 1,000 yards on the season on that play. In fact, he's now at 1,075. 77 yards. 13-6. Point after try by Walsh is good. And it is 13-7. My, how things can change. Arnett, Lewis, and Bass, the deep men for the Rams, and now they got to get to work. They're only up 6 points now. Off tackle right, Dickerson. And that's a loss of a yard. And that sets up 2nd and 11. Sweep right. Blitz coming, so we're going to change it to a screen to Tank Younger. And Younger cannot get open. Incomplete.
Holding offense. Number 22, 10-yard penalty.
Will the Vikings take the penalty? They will. It's 2nd and 21. So we'll give it to Dickerson, and we will go trap right just to get something on here. 4 yards, and Dickerson goes over 100 on the day. But it's 3rd and 17. Yes, I have to click that to get to the next play. There we go. And we're going to look for Ellard on the medium passing route. Going to be short of the first down, though. Ellard picks up 14. He needed 17. And Van Brocklin comes in. No wind at the Memorial Coliseum, which made his 90-yard punt the last time all the more spectacular. And this goes 46 yards, returned 10 by Ed West. And the Vikings start 1st and 10 at their own 37. Peterson now has 4 carries, 84 yards. We'll see what they go to him. They do. And a pretty decent gain. 6 yards. Robertson on the stop for LA. It is 2nd and 4 at the 43. 10:07 left in the half. Screen. Brown. And he's got running room. Gain of 16. Kevin Green finally caught up to him. 1st and 10 at the 41 of LA. And Minnesota's got it going now. Gain of 11, and Peterson now goes over 100 yards already. So we've had both the featured running backs with 8:39 left in the second go over 100 yards. You don't see that too often either. That's what I like about these games. They're like snowflakes. They're all different. Brown a gain of 2. Green on the tackle. Kevin Green, who tried his hand at being a pro wrestler after his playing days were gone. 2nd and 8 at the 28. Brown, gain of a yard. Deacon Jones made the tackle. 3rd and 7. Throw and an incompletion looking for Carter. They will bring Walsh in to try a field goal from 44 yards. No win, so that's right down the middle for Walsh from 44. And it's 13-10 with 6:37 now left in the half. Arnett back deep. He's going to take it 7 yards deep from his end zone and just take a knee. Trap right, Dickerson. Gain of 2 on his 11th carry. He's now got 103 yards. Brown, medium cross. And that is an incompletion. 3rd and 8. We'll go crazy legs with a medium out route. He wears number 40. They threw it to somebody else, Christensen. Hirsch injured his thumb, but he stays in the game. 4th and 8, and now all of a sudden LA can't do anything offensively other than run the ball. So Van Brocklin comes in to punt. Decent punt. Went 48 yards. They let it roll dead. And Minnesota starts from their own 30. We have 5:31 to go in the half. It is 13-10 in favor of LA. Tarkenton to Bill Brown, and Brown weaves his way to the first down, picking up 10. Brown now has two catches, 26 yards. Tarkenton 5 of 8, 71 yards. 1st and 10 at the 40. This is Peterson, and he's had a big day already. That's a gain of 3. Deacon Jones on the tackle. Of course, when Deacon Jones played, you could still head slap. The head slap was legal. You could just slap a opposing player. Of course, you don't want to slap one of your own players on the helmet. That was still legal back in the days he played. 2nd and 7 at the 43. And they say Deacon was a master at the head slap. Tarkenton to Carter, incomplete. 3rd and 7 at the 43. Tarkenton. The throw underneath to Peterson. Peterson's got a first. Gain of 7. Luke Donald coming back in the game. Not Luke Donald. Luke Donald is a golfer. Aaron Donald out of Pittsburgh. You see him there, a plus 10 defensive lineman. Luke Donald. 1st and 10 at the 50. Sorry, folks. Brown back to the line, and that's it. Aaron Donald on the tackle. See? I learned from my mistakes. 2nd and 10 at the 50. That's a gain of 4.
Holding.
That's going to come back.
Number 81, 10-yard penalty.
Moss called for holding. 2nd and 20 at the 40. Tarkenton to Carter. No, that is to Moss. Gain of 10, so he atones. It's 3rd and 10 at the 50, and Minnesota will get a playoff here before the 2-minute warning. Brown, he threw it into traffic. Tarkenton did. Irvin on the coverage, and it's incomplete. We set up a 4th and 10. Ball at midfield. Here's the punt by Bob Lee, and I'm going to return it. A short punt. Brown took it on the run. A gain of 8. The punt went 32, so the net was only 24. Would cause the lineman to blink, and he would be by them. The Deacon, yes. Deacon Jones, master of the... They also think that Deacon Jones invented the term quarterback sack. Like a sack of groceries is how he referred to it. Trap right, Dickerson. Say he invented the term quarterback sack. Gain of 6 by Dickerson. 2-minute warning. It's 13-10 LA. Dickerson 12 carries and 109 yards. Rams have 2 timeouts left, and the Vikings have 3. We'll go to Hirsch. Crazy legs on the medium hitch. Incomplete, but a marker.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
They get Randall for unnecessary roughness. 1st and 10 at the 47 of LA, so they still have to get 53 yards. Henry Ellard, medium out. Incomplete. Another marker. Pass interference? Yes.
Defense. Number 29, automatic. First down.
Sometimes I like to guess the penalties, and I could sometimes guess what the penalties are based on when they occur in the play, and that was a pass interference against Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes out of Florida State, Seminole country. 1st and 10 at the 41. Brown, short hitch. Incomplete. Of course, Tim Brown played at Notre Dame. I believe he was on one of the last teams Notre Dame had that won the national championship back in '88. I believe he was on that team. Off tackle right, Eric Dickerson. That was right before they got Rocket Ishmael, and he became a big college football star. Dickerson gains 5, and the Rams will use a timeout there because I kind of forgot we were down to the last 2 minutes. 3rd and 5. Christensen, the short slant. That is the play. He's open. Good for a first down. Gain of 10. Moves it to the 26. Shotgun, man in motion. We're going to hurry up, and we're going to call no huddle. Hirsch, the short out. That is caught by Brown, a gain of 6, and he did get out of bounds. Minute in 1 second now left. 13-10 LA, and they're looking for more points. Ellard, medium out. He's open. He's got 6. Touchdown, LA. Extra point try is good by Barr, and it is 20-10 with 51 seconds left in the opening half. Harvin back deep. Vikings will have all 3 timeouts at their disposal. His return, Harvin's, to the 18, and it will be a 19-yard return in the scorebooks. 1st and 10. They're going to give it to Brown. He gains nothing, and Deacon Jones makes the tackle. 2nd and 10. And Minnesota's not really going to contest it and use their timeouts. A loss of 1 for Brown. Deacon Jones again on the tackle. Anthony Carter comes in as a 3rd wideout, but they're not going to run a play before the half. And we'll go to the 3rd quarter with the score 20-10 in favor of Los Angeles. I will be back in less than 60 seconds. In the meantime, take a gander at the games coming up right here on the HTFL. And we're back. See it. Just take a swig of water, and it doesn't usually take me long to recharge my batteries. 20-10, the Rams lead the Vikings. LA will get the ball to start the second half. Yes, I want to receive it. Let's take a look at the real quick stats. 221 yards for LA on 28 plays. Vikings have ran 29 and have gained 190. We have had so far 10 penalties. Minnesota was 6th and the Rams with 4. We've had both running backs go over 100 yards already. Arnett received the kickoff and took the old knee in the end zone, so it's 1st and 10 at the 20. Dickerson's at 114 on the day, and Peterson at 104. Trap right. And we will take a look at Dickerson's season so far while we're thinking of it. 990 yards on the season, 8 touchdowns rushing, 26 catches, 289 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns receiving, and he has gone over 100 yards 4 times, and today would make time number 5. We'll go back to Dickerson, off tackle right, closing in on that 1,000-yard mark, as you saw. That's a gain of 5. 3rd and 6. Of course, Dickerson broke what was at the time O.J. Simpson's rushing record. O.J. broke Jim Brown's. O.J. was the first to go over 2,000, and then Dickerson in, I think, 1985, 84-85, he broke O.J.'s record. 3rd and 6, 3 wide. Going to be a slant, the Crazy Legs Hirsch. Caught. A gain of 10. And it's 1st and 10. Of course, the Rams really didn't have much of a passing game to go along with Dickerson, so they were kind of a one-trick pony. They did very well in the playoffs. Of course, they made it to the NFC Championship game the year the Bears took it all. Off tackle right, Dickerson. And their biggest obstacle was not really having a good quarterback. They had good receivers. They had Dieter Brock at one point, who came down from the CFL. Medium out, Elroy Hirsch, and then they developed Jim Everett, who you see here. Christensen's close to the first down, but short. 3rd and inches, so they'll go full house, and they'll go to Younger on the dive. He's got the first, and he's got a lot more. Gain of 8. That gets Younger to 2 carries and 8 yards. Dickerson. And the Rams had a good defense in the 80s, too. Let's not forget that. They had a good offensive line, but it always seemed that the missing piece of their puzzle was a good quarterback. Dickerson will go to Younger on the screen, see if he can get open. He can. And ball and player arrived at the same time, and that's always a good thing. That's a gain of 20. That's 1st and 10 at the 28. Well, I think it's time for the quick strike. Long fly, Ellard. And Ellard's got another touchdown. Henry Ellard with back-to-back scores. 20 yards and now 28. And it's 26-10. So the Rams successful on their first drive of the second half, and they have a 27-10 lead with Chris Barr's extra point. And you know what, guys? You never saw that because I never changed the slide. I'm sorry, folks. But you had my radio play-by-play of it. In fact, let me just show you the extra point again. I can't show you Ellard's touchdown, but he did have one. I did that the other night, too. I forgot to change the slides. Well, folks, you all saw me mess up. It's 27-10. And the screen's all messed up with Minnesota's offense on the field, all the pictures, but it's not kickoff time yet. It's a touchback. 1st and 10 at the 20. So we'll just call that a technical difficulty and move on. Okay, so here is Tarkenton. Told you I had a voice for radio. Ball to 20. In the round. That went to Moss, and Moss did not gain anything. No gain. Nolan Cromwell on the tackle. Thank you very much, Al. 2nd 10 at the 20. He said it was an excellent audio call. Some guys are meant for radio. What can I say? Gain of 1. Tarkenton to Harvin. And it's 3rd 9. The throw and incompletion. Do I really need to show the slide at halftime? Because I show it at the end of the game. Maybe that's what I should check out. 4th and 9, lead a punt, and again, Minnesota struggling offensively. I think that's what the problem is. Gain of 2 by Tim Brown, and the Rams have it at their own 36. 8:13 left, opening part of the third quarter. Dickerson, already at 121 yards on the day, gains 3.
Encroachment defense.
But that'll be
Number
nullified by
88,
the encroachment
5-yard penalty.
by Alan Page. And it's 1st and 5 at the 41. Hirsch, medium crossing route. Blitz coming. And Hirsch has it. And at the 45, a gain of 16. Browner on the tackle. 1st and 10, and as I was saying, it's at the 43. We're going to go trap left Dickerson. No gain. Stuffed at the line by Alan Page. Everett, 13 of 18, 186 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the running game has been working so well they haven't really needed him. Screen to Dickerson. 40, 30. Oh, Minnesota's got the ball, but it's going to be challenged. A fumble recovered by Minnesota.
Upon further review, the runner was down by contact.
And overturned by the booth replay. So Dickerson with the catch and run. The fumble will be thrown out. He's got 3 catches and 36 yards on the day. They'll go back to him again on a trap right. No gain. And it is 2nd and 10 at the 31. Dickerson, a sweep to the right side. Gain of 2 to make it 3rd and 8. We have 5:42 to go. Third quarter. Medium fly to Todd Christensen. So if you're just tuning in and you saw the slide up for a long period of time, nope, we have fixed that error. Incomplete. And it's 4th and 8. Barr's the field goal will only be a 31% chance from 46 yards out. Everett is going to quick kick here. Oh, look at that. I crashed the game. Oh, anything that could go wrong will tonight. But we could pick it up right from there. I'm just going to have to relaunch it. I think I would learn by now, especially this happened earlier in the season where I wanted to run a quick kick and the game wouldn't let me. I think it was Philadelphia and Dallas I was playing and this happened. And I wanted to run a quick kick and the computer said, no, you're not running a quick kick. So I have to find Minnesota and Los Angeles. Current. I think this is what I hit. Okay, folks. And we're back to it, 4th and 8. Can't really run a punt here. And let's see. I guess we got to go for it. Christensen, a medium cross on 4th and 8 from the 29. Did they get it? Got it. Pick up a 15. 1st and 10 at the 14. They'll go Younger. Trap right. Blitz coming. And that's a gain of 5 yards. Winston makes the stop. Been calling his name so much, I should probably point out who he is. Roy Winston out of LSU, played on the early 70s teams. 2nd and 5. Double tight end set. They'll go to Younger. Trap left. He's got another hole and a 1st down, a gain of 6. 1st and goal at the 3. Full house now. Gurley, a dive play. 2 carries, 2 touchdowns. Todd Gurley. (33-10). The extra point attempt, good by Chris Barr. And let me just fix my screen here, folks. No, I didn't mean to do that. It's 34-10 with 2:54 left. And the Rams in control now. Here's Harvin again back deep. First and 10, Minnesota at their own 20. They're down a bunch now. Chris Carter with a catch, a gain of 8. McDaniel on the tackle. Tarkenton 9 of 15, 97 yards. Second and 2. That's Carter again, picking up 18. McDaniel making the tackle. It's first and 10 at the 46. Brown, no gain. Richter makes the stop. It is second and 10 at the 46. Tarkenton, Carter, gain of 13. First and 10 at the 41. Brown, no gain, and we have ended the third quarter. It is Minnesota 10 and the Rams 34. Chuck Foreman and Anthony Carter entered the game. Tried to give Minnesota a little bit more speed. Second and 10 at the 41. Tarkenton sacked by Kevin Green up the middle. That's his 10th sack of the year. He was among the league leaders in sacks all season. So check the recap show on Monday and we'll show you all the statistical leaders. And I think Kevin Green will be right up there in terms of quarterback sacks. Third and 21 for Minnesota.
False start. Offense.
Now it's third and
Number
26.
65, 5-yard penalty. Repeat. Third down.
They get Zimmerman for a false start. Third and 26 at the 43. Tarkenton will have to go deep. Not deep enough as he threw it away, and Bob Lee is on the punt. Will return it, even though it looks like the kick will go to about the 15. Brown return a 6 to the 21. The punt went 42, and the net was 36. First and 10 LA, ball to 21. We have 14:09 now left in the game, and the Rams looking like they will go to 8 and 3. I believe that'll put them in a tie for the best record in the HTFL. We have a whole bunch of teams at 8 and 3. We'll double check that when we close out this game. Dickerson gained a yard and Winston made the tackle. Dickerson will go to him again, trap right. No gain this time. Dickerson now 21 carries, 124 yards. Brown, medium slant on third and 9. Minnesota playing deep and wisely so. That falls incomplete. Fourth and 9 and Van Brocklin comes on the punt. So we have two quarterbacks punting. Brocklin had the 90-yarder earlier on. Punt went 47. Fair catch made by West at the 31. Foreman in the game. First and 10 at the 31. Chuck Foreman out of Miami. They give it to him. He gained some yards, but
Offsides. Defense.
that will stand.
Number 74, 5-yard penalty.
They get Merlin Olsen for the offsides. It's first and 5 at the 36. 12:27 to go. Harvin gains a yard. Jones on the tackle. Second and 4 at the 37. Tarkenton completes it to Moss. A gain of 15. First and 10 at the LA 48 now. 11:32 to go. Here's Foreman again. Loss of a yard. Second and 11 at the 49 of LA. Foreman over the middle. He gains 13 on the pass. Sherman on the tackle at the 36. First and 10 for Minnesota. I think I forgot to mention the yardage situation for both teams and the number of plays called. 43 plays, 247 for Minnesota. 49 plays, 361 for LA. That's where it stands right now. First and 10. Second and 10 at the 36. An incomplete pass. Harvin, the intended receiver there. Third and 10. Throw over the middle intended for Moss. Incomplete. I'm sorry, that was Chris Carter, the intended receiver. He wears 81. Anthony Carter. I'm sorry. That's what threw me off. You got Randy Moss, Anthony Carter, Chris Carter, Percy Harvin. Fourth and 10 at the 35, and LA will go for it. 36. And that was caught by Harvin, a gain of 16. Cromwell on the tackle. Ball to 20, and the first and 10 from there. Harvin just short of the goal line. They will mark him at the 1, and Kyle Rudolph comes on. Will they run behind Rudolph here? Let's see. Peterson, short. No gain. Second and goal from the 1, 7:25 left, so it's taking a lot of time for Minnesota to get this score. Incomplete, looking for Jordan in the end zone. Cromwell on the coverage. Third and goal, 1-yard line. And this time they finally get the touchdown. Peterson. And after 13 plays and 59 yards, and I'm sure the time of possession they would have liked to have been shorter with 5 minutes and 55 seconds being used up, Minnesota gets the score. It's 34-16. Point after, good by Walsh. And now you got to watch for the onside kick because they elected to kick the extra point and not go for 2. Watch for the onside kick. It was a touchback anyway. First and 10 at the 20. Trap right, Dickerson. Loss of a yard. Dolman on the stop. Stretch, Dickerson. So I see trap left and trap right lit up in pink. 6 yards. Randall on the stop. Dickerson now up to a $1.29 on the day. 34-17, the Rams leading. Hirsch, a medium cross route. Incomplete, but possibly pass interference. Yes.
Defense. Number 47, automatic. First down.
Joey Browner got called for the PI. And it is now a first and 10 at the 38. Quick throw. Quick pitch to Dickerson. Haven't thrown that play out there. There it goes. Back to the line, and that's it. Blair with the stop. 34-17 Los Angeles. Trap right, Tank Younger. Back to the line. Oh, he gained 2. Chris Dolman on the stop. 3rd and 8. Man in motion, medium pass. And this will be to Brown. Unknown coverage deployed by Minnesota. Incomplete. 4th and 8, man. Brocklin coming in the punt. And I think that might be the last we see of the starters for LA today. A fair catch by West. 50-yard punt to go with the 90 he had earlier. And Minnesota starts from their own 10. First and 10 from the 10. Tarkenton, all the starters still in for Minnesota. Gain of 9 as Chris Carter, Anthony Carter probably caught that. Let's check the replay. Yeah, it was 81, had to be, because Anthony wears 81 and Chris wears 80. 2nd and 1 at the 19. Tarkenton. Okay. Oh, that was the replay again. Sorry, folks. 2nd and 1 at the 19. Tarkenton, screen, Foreman, first down. Pickup of 9. And it's 1st and 10 at the 28. Tarkenton to Harvin. A gain of 12. Cromwell on the tackle. Tarkenton now 18 of 29. 221 yards. 1st and 10 at the 40. Screen. Foreman loses yards. 2 that time. Stepped out of bounds before anybody got to him. 2nd and 12. The throw. Incomplete, looking for Harvin. Incomplete. No, it was completed to Carter. Let's look at that play again, because I didn't see it. I was too busy looking at the TV. There's Carter. Yep, he made the catch. 4th and 6. They needed 12 and only got 6. Minnesota will go for it. Screen. Foreman. A first down. Gain of 13 yards. That makes it now 1st and 10 at the LA 43. Screen to Foreman again. Incomplete again. Tarkenton now 21 of 34. 238. 2nd and 10 at the 43. A sack by McLaughlin. And that backs the Vikings up 5, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 17 at the 50. Sideline route and a first down. Anthony Carter, who gains 20. 1st and 10 at the 30. I think we were talking about Anthony Carter the last time Minnesota played. He was on the Michigan Panthers of the USFL, I remember. And then he went to Minnesota. 2nd and 10 at the 30. The throw, looking for Harvin, incomplete. 3rd and 10. Tarkenton sacked by Jack Youngblood. Again, loss of 6. Buck 31. I do not want to call timeout. Minnesota, we crossed a 2-minute warning at some point. Minnesota has 2 timeouts left, and the Rams have 3. They finally called their first timeout. 4th and 16 at the 36. Tarkenton back to throw. Intercepted by Sherman. I believe that's his first pick of the year. It is. And it is 34-17. LA has the ball. And we're going to change out our whole backfield. We're going to put Norm Van Brocklin in at quarterback. We're going to give Bo Jackson the ball at tailback and give him a few carries. Whole bunch of running backs you can choose from LA, and they are all good. So Jackson will get it. Off tackle left. Because Minnesota might call timeout, so I still want to run some plays. Gain of 3. Bo saw action in an earlier game. He's had 16 carries and 102 yards, 1 catch for a negative 1 yard. So he is not foreign to the HTFL. 2nd and 7 at the 44. 1:16 on the clock. We're going to go dive with Bo. And there goes Bo. Gain of 11. Minnesota still has timeouts. That's why I'm running plays, but that will probably be the last play of the game, and it is. 34-17. Go purple, Dave Gardner says. Hello, sir. We're just about wrapping up shop here on this game. It was the Vikings. Closed at the 13-10 at one point, but it was the Rams pouring it on at the end. We did a little radio play-by-play to start the 3rd quarter because I forgot to change the slide on my OBS system. So, let's see here. Dickerson was the MVP. And you see it there. The Rams had a 13-point run, then a 21-point run. And it was 34-10. Here's the scoring summary just by itself. Team stats. Both teams perfect in the red zone. The Vikings had 337 in yardage and the Rams 382. Time of possession was about as even as you could get, 29-50 for the Vikings and 30-10 for LA. Penalties, 9 for Minnesota, 5 for Los Angeles, so there were 14 total. 62 plays ran by Minnesota and 56 ran by the Rams. Better quarterback today was Jim Everett. 15-23, 213, 2 touchdowns. 129 yards for Dickerson. He was the rushing leader, though Peterson had a good game. 105 yards in defeat. Had that 77-yarder. Leading pass catcher was Chris Carter. 5 catches, 61 yards. And I always like to look at the defense. And the leading tackler was... Actually, we had Bryant for Minnesota and Donald for LA, both with 8 tackles. So we're almost out of here, gang. San Francisco has the best record in the league at 9-2. LA will be 8-3. There's a whole bunch of teams at 8-3 right now. New York, Green Bay, Kansas City, Washington, and now Los Angeles. Los Angeles to 8-3. San Diego and Houston will be wrapping up Week 12. They will play tomorrow night. San Diego 5-5. And Houston is 4-6. Houston would make the playoffs if the playoffs were now. And Los Angeles now, they'll be 2 games clear of San Diego, and they need every game they can get because San Diego owns the tiebreaker on LA sweeping them head to head. Minnesota now 7-4, so Green Bay takes the lead in the Northern Conference. Be Green Bay, Cleveland, Minnesota, and who would have the tiebreaker between Minnesota and Baltimore? Because I think they played each other earlier. They did not. So let's look at this. Minnesota plus 22 in net points, which is the third tiebreaker. And Baltimore would be the 3 seed. Baltimore would be the 3 seed if it ended today. They're up 61, and Minnesota is up 22. Thanks for the game, Paulie. Yes, yes. Hello, Red Sox fan. Good to have you, Luke Brown, and Dave Gardner with us all tonight. Here's our next 5 games, and putting up the slide got me in trouble at halftime because I forgot to change the slide back. Houston and San Diego will wrap up Week 12. That'll be tomorrow night, 7:30. I don't know if it'll be a live stream or on tape, depending on what happens in my old life of mine. Recap show at 6:30. Then Washington, Carolina will start Week 13 at 7:30. Cleveland and New York. Houston. No, that's not Houston. Hang on, folks. I can't read my own writing. Tennessee and Minnesota will be the Wednesday night game next week. Pittsburgh and Kansas City will be the game a week from tonight. So there you go, folks. Another weekend, another game in the can. We've been with you now an hour and 12 minutes. Usually when we do live streams, we start them like around 7:15, do a little chat, get acclimated, get settled, and play these games out. This has been Big Paulie coming to you. We wish you well, no matter where you are and whenever you see this. Godspeed and God bless. Thank you all for voting in the elections. We had 160 million people vote, and we still don't know who won. Take care of each other. Godspeed and God bless. We'll do it all again